Hello everyone. In this video, let's try to look at creating a bullet chart. What I meant by the bullet chart is I would like to compare the actual with the target, but at the same time, along with the target, I have a performance measurement also. Let's say I will say whether something is falling into the poor, okay, or good or excellent kind of a range. And at the same time, what is the target that has to be met and how much away from the target. Let's say in this case, I'll take an example. I want to find out the average run scored by the selected player in a match. I want to set some target. Let's say average per match should be around 50. But at the same time, I'll say if his average is between 0 and 20, I'll say it is poor. Let's say 20 to 30, I say it is okay. 30 to 40 is good, and 40 and above is excellent. So, and at the same time, look at what is his actuals, and then typically see where his performance is with respect to the actual. Where is his current performance with respect to the actual? So, let's say I'll make it simple. I'll make it slightly simpler. I would like to put, see, let's say the performance of the average performance based on average. So here I'll set a simple range. So up to 20, so I'll set poor as up to 20. Then the next 10, I'll say okay. So that's what I'll represent it as 10. Then the next 10, I'll say is as good. And the rest, probably the next 20 or something, I'll set as excellent. So let me put these 4 numbers here. And along with these 4, I would also try to plot the actual. The actual is the actual average of this person, of the person whom we have selected. And on that, I would try to put up a simple bullet graph which will show these 4 as 4 different colors, probably increasing in the transparency or decreasing in the transparency, and the actual might be a simple line which would simply point where exactly is this number in the total. Let's see how do we put it, but for that I need to get the actual value for this actual average for this player. So the average, I would like to define it very simple. Average is defined as total runs scored by the person divided by the number of matches in which he was out. So for total runs, I can use sum if for the selected person, but for the total matches in which he was out, I need to use count ifs as a formula. So I'll try to use that part. So I'll say equal to sum if. I'll try to get the runs. So the player name is equal to the selected player, and the runs I need to count. So I'm doing the summation of the runs, but at the same time I need to divide by the number of matches in which he was out. So I'm simply saying the name of the player here also is equal to the same name, but the number of outs, which means I have to put one more condition on the status column, and on the status column I'll simply put out. So with this, I should be able to find out what is his average. Yeah, this particular person's average actual number is working out to 4090. 40.94. 40.94. This is the actual average of this person. Alright, so what I would like to do is I'll put some headings here. Performance or rating, and I call it as average. Alright. So now I would like to plot a simple stacked column chart. See, my intention is to plot a bullet chart which would look like an increased or decreased transparency level of a color, and along with that I would even try to point out where the actual lies with respect to that range. So I would select this area. To start off with, I will plot a simple stacked column chart. Okay, here this is. But yeah, what I actually require in this case is the column poor, above that okay, above that good, something like that. So if I switch the row and column, it comes out the way I require. You try just switching it, you get two different graphs. So I'm switching it like this, which means I actually require these four colors to come up one above the other and the actual to be pointed out probably as a single line or something. So how I can do that is just select this one single graph, and this one single point, which is your actuals value, you actually change it to the secondary axis. We change the plotting of this onto the secondary axis, but now one is dominating the other. The reason being your secondary axis is getting superimposed over the primary axis, and both of them are of the same type. So what you can very well do is change the chart type of that into a line chart with a marker, so that you are getting the marker here, probably a small marker. What you can very well do is you make that as a line instead of a cross or a star. What I could very well do is the marker option, I'll create my own marker option, which is just like this line, probably increasing the size of this line, let's say up to 20 or something. Yeah, this is showing up some line here, and if required a little bit of more editing to this line, making it in a different color. Let's say we'll make it to a black color, right? I'll fill it up with black. All right, and so that would be my actual value. My actual value is that number, right? And line fill, we'll come back to them. The line fill, line color also, probably let's set it to the same black color, or even the marker line color, let's set it so let all of them be of that same black color. So now what we would see is there is a simple black color which actually talks about our actual value. Now what I can do is all these four, make them as either increasingly transparent or decreasingly transparent kind of values. Alright, so let me do that format data series for each of the points. I'll fill it with a solid color. Let's say I start from the top. I may use this blue or red or light green color. So let me use these four. So let the top one would be a light green, or probably because we are talking about excellent, I'll try to put a dark green to it. So I'll make that one as a dark green. The next one slightly lighter in terms of that green. Right, so I'll take the slightly lighter version on that. Then the next I'll take even more lighter. I'm taking even more lighter, and the last one I'll take completely lighter. So what we are saying is the moment the number approaches, or probably I can make it with respect to the full-fledged green itself, because this color is not looking that great. Probably I can switch to this green, but here I'll make it the same green with some transparency level. Let's say up to 25% transparent, but that is not solving my purpose, because more or less they are looking like the same. All right, let's say around 30% transparency. Then let me make this 60%, but that is not looking that visible. So probably I should switch back. Probably I can select this style directly, or any of these styles. Right? I can select any of these styles. So the dark is on the poorer side, or the light is on the brighter side. So the same thing I can do in case of green, or see if there is any other better color. I can use even the black and white or the dark shade. So depending on our understanding of it, I can simply choose where. But in that process, I've actually missed out on this line also, which means I have to again go back, reselect it, change it to a chart type, which is a line, because when I used that different format, it was giving me something else. Let me just go back. This is the point. So what I should do is this line, I change the format data point for this, making it as my own built-in, which we have done early, but we missed out. Probably make the size of it as 20. Then the filling also make it with a black color, right? And line color also let it be the same black, and line style will keep it as it is. The marker color also let put it to black. So let's say this is what we are trying to plot. All right. So, but what we are seeing is, though we have marked up to 60 as actual, I mean the performance wise 40 to 60 is actually good, but this person's performance is 40.94, but it is showing way above that, even the excellent range also. So that is where what I can simply do is, that is because the two axes are of different sizes. So one way to address that is I just simply remove the axis, and now we are seeing that our black one is actually in the middle. So it is falling inside. It's falling inside our range between 40 to 60, and that's where we can say that this person is actually in the excellent region. And to make these things understandable a little bit more, I can select these four areas, and I can actually bring in the data labels. So I can simply say add data label, control 1, or I can simply right click. I say add data label. By default it will add the number, but I can very well modify it. Format data labels. Instead of showing value, I'll show a category name, or series name. Yeah, I don't need a category name. I'll put it as the series name. So what I would simply do for all these ranges also is exactly the same. I'll add data label for all these four, where I would simply add the series name. In each of these cases, I'll simply add the series name, because by default it will show a value to that data label. Right click, I just show a series name instead of anything else. Yeah, and probably this one I can still retain it, and now I can remove this legend, and probably even these axes, right? And if required, even these axes, the axis I can still keep. Probably this axis, if I remove, I can simply put it like this, and I can even bring it out into a very simpler region. Or probably I can even reduce the font size and all for each of them. I can reduce the font size a little bit to make it look much cleaner, simpler. Yeah, I'll make those necessary small changes. Right now we can make this graph a little bit more smaller. Probably I may not require this axis also, because all I need to say is his average, whether it is in the good range or excellent range or a poor range or whatever it is. I do a bit of required formatting across, but yeah, anything more than this. Yeah, so this is the kind of graph I'm getting. So what we can very well do is I can go back into the dashboard, select this area, probably call this space average wise performance. So I'll make it slightly smaller in font to suit to the requirement. So this is wise is the average wise performance. I'll select this region again with probably a slightly different color. This is the background I'll select, and I'll just get this graph. I just got this graph from here and paste it here. Yeah, before I do that, again our routine stuff of removing the plot area, making it no fill, even the chart area, making it no fill, will solve our problem. Now I would do the required adjustments to bring it inside this line. Right. And I don't need this border also. So what I can do is for my chart area, I'll say border line, no line. So this person's performance is looking somewhere in the excellent category. Now, just to see comparison with the others, if I try to plot it to someone else in this list, you see that the numbers are much higher. Performance versus country, all these things typically come up very well. So his actual average, it is in the excellent categories. So for each of the players, that category is looking up much better. So we can very well position each of the person. So average performance of the person can very well be looked at. So this person is in the good range. Let's say I take someone else. Yeah, he is in the okay range. So I can very well see the comparison of the person across the various averages and all that stuff. So this is how we are typical. Whenever you have some kind of a target, or whenever you would like to position a value with respect to poor, okay, good, and excellent, this kind of comparative performances across the period, I prefer the usage of these kind of charts. I prefer the usage of the bullet chart because it clearly talks about a bulleted way of representing where the actual performance lies with respect to a performance benchmark. So this can typically find a lot of applications in the practical world. So you just need to think of the various business scenarios where you can apply it, and I'm sure this would be one of the important charts that could be comfortably plotted. I hope that helps. Thanks a lot for listening to this video. Thank you very much.